Do you hear that? That's the sound of a can being opened because I forgot to mute myself. What is on? It is most definitely Wednesday, and we're getting ready to talk about
Yeah, I have lots of stories.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise is, as Pedro does from time to time, he died.
Yes. No Pedro today.
Jill successfully assassinated Pedro.
No.
And I gotta add a little thing. How's everybody doing, man? It is Wednesday. You're supposed to be working right now. What do I got? Oh, right.
Oh, it's night for Artheron, so he's done with work today. Yeah, Steve has been. It's just me and the Venster.
What are you trying to do, Steve? You got yikes, exclamation point, backslash. What does that mean? What are you trying to communicate, Steven?
Yep,
Wednesday.
Artheron.
It's always Wednesday when we do this show. Wherever you
are. Unless you're in Australia, which is Thursday.
Now you just close your eyes and pretend.
Yeah.
Exactly, Steve.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a joke. One day, you're going to have a stroke. And you're going to type that out and like, oh, Steve, he's just joshing. Please send help. Man, it is wintertime. It is chilly. By wintertime here, I mean it's 12, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Canada, laugh at me.
It's actually colder than usual here as well this week.
I cut the
Daisy.
heat on. I know it's officially winter. I cut the heat on this morning.
Yeah, I did
I also
too.
realized that my Nest thermostat's being very squirrely because I got up this morning, like form of human burrito, and you pop the arm out, kind of get the temperature. Like, all right, oh, it's chilly. All right, fine. You reach over, grab a tablet, cut the heat on because hey, man, it's 2020, right? You cut the heat on through your Wi-Fi device, and fortunately, I just had to reboot the Nest thing, and it's like, oh no, I haven't tested the heat. That's what I need. I need to go buy an entire new HVAC system. That's in the budget, but no, that's all it was. I restarted it. The heat came on. All was well. We had that first, that smell you get
that
the
stink.
first time.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that's the first time it's been cut on in 9 months.
Yeah.
So it was most definitely cut on, and we had the smell permeate downstairs.
Yeah. What I do when I first fire up the heater is I fire it up before I actually need it, and open all the windows in the house so it airs it out. Get it going for about an hour, and then the next time I fire it up, it'll smell good.
Harder, faster, scooter.
We have a classic wall heater
A wall
from the
heater.
70s. Yes.
Or do you get like an electric unit in the wall or something?
No, it's gas. Here in Cali, we this house originally had a floor heater that was gas, and then those became illegal to have.
Illegal?
So yeah, so then everyone had to go to wall heaters or forced air.
I would be, as dangerous as I like to be, having gas anything in California would terrify me. Probably in a good way.
Oh. No, it's great. I love it.
And that, for me, that just boils down to, the ground shakes through a bit.
Yeah, it's underground, and if there's issues, we have cutoff valves for that. There have been times I've had to do it, but
Thank you for hosting DEF CON 2021.
Oh, DEF CON 201 Live.
That together. So who's gonna here's what we need to talk
Darren.
about before we get going. What cup do you have? You have a cup. Where's your lid? You're
Yeah.
gonna spill it everywhere.
No, I'm careful.
Come on, spill it. We don't have Pedro here holding up a laptop. To hopefully
Yeah. I have never spilt anything in this room ever, but I don't usually
Oof.
ever spill
Oof.
things.
Don't say things like that, Jill.
Yes. I am careful.
No. So who tried to run out and buy a AMD card?
Yeah, I know our local stores were headlines and packed.
I saw some people like lining up to do that, right?
Yeah. I did that one time with some friends for the Ryzen 5 release. I went with my friend Tyson and his friends, and we stood in line, but we got a huge discount on all the new processors and motherboards, so it was worth it. But yeah, I never want to do that again, but I did it just to be with my friends.
I was thinking about that. I really was. It's like, when was the last time I got in a line ride for anything?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I ever have.
Oh, okay.
There has to be something, right?
Something, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have. I was just there to be with my friends and have fun, but I wasn't, I didn't have to have the processor right then. So, at the local micro center. And yeah, Ven, you tweeted out, that's my local micro center, the one in Tustin.
Okay.
So, yeah. I've been to that one many times. That's one of my favorite places to go. And that one is always well stocked. It always has supplies. In fact, they have Raspberry Pi 400s, but it's far enough away that I didn't want to order it from there because it was pickup only.
You would have been like, yo, Steve.
It's only about 35-40 minutes to get there, but it's far enough away that
Well, hang on. We got to do the LA calculation. Is it 35 or 40 minutes, like if there wasn't traffic, or is it like 3 hours?
It's 35-40 minutes with traffic because of COVID. There's hardly any traffic, so.
Okay.
But even actually normally, it's only about 40-45 minutes because it's in Orange County, and I'm in the southern. I'm close to Orange County, so I'm not that far from it, and the freeways going that direction are usually quick because you're getting out of LA proper.
37 miles. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit. That's a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not bad at all.
100. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Like, LA traffic's no joke. You think people exaggerate until you're actually in it. Like, this is just a soup of people and cars trying to drive all at once, all the time.
Yeah. That's another reason why my family wanted to be by the beach. Well, besides of their work and surfing and such, is because
they were running away until they hit water.
Yeah, getting away from the massive congestion in the suburbs.
Let's see. I don't need to record Pedro's channel. Sorry, Pedro. Your channel's not getting recorded.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go take a quick break before we get started.
All right.
It's all up to you, Ven.
Oh, no. I wish I knew how to host a show, Jill. I'm scared.
Yes.
Terrified. What am I going to do? Oh, man. I'm thinking exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this thing dialed in. I have a new preamp, kids. And, I need to bring the... Ooh! I don't know if I'm going to be brave enough to bring it up too much. Let's see if we can just bring in the ACM 510, and I'll bring that out just a little bit. Man, that's a big gnarly link you got going on there. 2016? Let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Okay, so I want that. Okay, that is coming up a little too high. I'll get it dialed in exactly. This is our little test show. What do we got? Yeah, man. Well, I get a new used preamp. I got a hipster preamp. It's big, it's red, it's a brick. It's not using tubes, it's using those fancy transformers from the 70s. It's a Neve style. Neve inspired. I'll probably have to do a little bit of a thing on it. But do I have a dead graphic for Jordan 2? I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no, Steve, because I think I made one time. Because somebody asked me a very similar question. I'm like, do you have a dead graphic? I'm like, well, let's see if we can come up with one. Can I open this with generic controls? Ooh! I can. Scared to mess with anything, though. So I could bring up the oversampling or undersampling. I don't want to mess with it. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. I didn't get a chance to look at all the AMD Big Navi reviews. Are they pretty good? Are they working good? Are they competitive? I'm curious to see what they can do in the area of ray tracing. Oh man. Supposedly good? Okay. I mean, let's be honest, I don't really care what they can do in ray tracing. I don't. But, hey man. Then, okay. You got to take a look. I'm just curious as to... Oh, why is that all the way down? I might have just solved a problem. Yes, I did. Okay, that explains that. X2, well, what? Well, okay, all right, let's be honest, Earthian. Did you really expect it to? That's no AMD hate whatsoever, but we all know new generation AMD cards, it can take a minute to get up and running with the Nvidia drivers. 2004? Well, I mean, come on. At least it's not pop, right? No work tweaking. I did see the thing. Okay. That wasn't the complete truth. I watched the very end of Tech Jesus. I was skipping through it this morning real quick, and I saw that it did. Apparently, it doesn't work with Doom for some reason. That was interesting. But here's what I like. Here's what I'm a big fan of, is quite simply put, I think I'm correct. They're all shipping with 16 gigs on the card, so that's going to put the herd on Team Green. Isn't it right, Latest? Yeah, it is. He agrees. Oh no, you can't buy any of them. Nvidia really shot themselves in the foot. I have not even went and checked the availability of the AMD things. I'm like, yo, Nvidia, you didn't make enough. And AMD walked out and they're like, we're going to make 11 of them. Don't worry about it. Like, AMD, you have a competitive product. You didn't make enough either. No, it's good. It's not a paper launch. I guarantee you it's out of stock everywhere, right? Yep. It's nowhere in stock? Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Right, Katana? Is that 16 gigs and 970? Mm-hmm. People still salty about that.
Salty.
Yeah, the 5700 XT is probably a decent card. I mean, the best thing I like about that 5700 XT was watching you get it set up. It was like 2 days of, like, just pure rawr in Discord. It was adorable. What I'm interested in is the 20, not 20, but the 3060 Ti's. They're saying the 3060 Ti is as fast as a 2080 Super. Like, all right. And it's only going to have 8 gigs.
Yeah, I was looking at the 3070. Trying to debate if that's so much better performance than the 3060 Ti.
It depends on what you're going to be doing with it. You got to remember that 99% of the games I'm playing are in a 1080p window because we're streaming them.
Yeah, I want it for 4K, so the 3070 or 3080 is probably a little better for that. Mm-hmm.
FireGL. My first experience with AMD on Linux, and it was ATI on Linux at the time, was legitimately, I'd heard, we're talking 2004, 2005, possibly 2006, was just the internet complaining. Slashdot mostly. It's like, it's horrible, you can't get it set up on Linux. And of course I'm like, you kids don't know how to use Linux. And my friend Arturo had one that he had swapped out for some reason. But I was in possession of an ATI card, a reasonably new one. And I downloaded the drivers and I'm like, oh, look, it's got a little GUI on it, man. Look at this. And next. Fast forward a week later, I got it working. So it's never been a piece of cake.
Oh, Steve has been in everyone at the last minute. Pedro's girlfriend, Nori, had chipped her tooth, so we had to take her to emergency. I don't know if she chipped it or broke it. Well, it broke, but if it came all the way out or not, I don't know. Poor thing.
You ever chipped a tooth, Joe?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, that's what I said to Pedro when he messaged me. Oh no, it's poor Nori. I said that same thing. Yeah, I had chipped my tooth when I was 5, falling over a tree stump.
Did the tree stump learn its lesson, Joe?
Yeah.
So we got this. I think we should be about good. Mungo. Yeah, right. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, oh, DeCrizzy, yeah.
Okay, so I think we should be good. Okay. It is 3:20. I'm looking over the show notes from last time.
Okay.
Don't DM it to Pedro. Make a t-shirt and wear it. All right. Oh, that's something I need to... come on.
Yeah, Steve Husband, that was a good one.
There it is. All right, that's what it's going. Excellent. Has it been a full year since the last one? It feels like it. All right. Jill, are you ready to do a show?
Yes, I am.
All right. Then I think we will do a show. 1, 2, and 3. That's locked. And let's kick that over to pause. Let's bring that down. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. And we're running on the latest Linux kernel with the latest Nvidia drivers. So keep that in mind if we just disappear for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Oh, I better move the chat thing down.
Ah, yes.
Stream chat. Come on, chat. Get down there where you belong. Yeah, we're good. All right. I think. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back to Linux Weekly, Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux. I am Vin Stone, joined every week by Jill Bryant.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And everyone can see that we are missing a Pedro.
Jill
but he will be back next week.
Pedro's dead. He's never coming back. You chased him away.
No, I don't do that.
He just pieced out, man. He's like, oh, yeah, it's getting taken off. But hey, man, everyone watching live, joining us, we got a big chunky show to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the AMD stuff. I know that's exciting news, but I didn't get a chance to take a look at any of the reviews. And let's face it, no one can buy one right now. But yeah, they've matched AMD. You've matched parity with Nvidia, just not in a good way. But what's new with you, Joe? You got anything fun going on?
Yes, I do. So I finally got a hold of a Raspberry Pi 400 personal computer kit. Yay! I finally found a US seller that had restocked. And as everyone knows out there, they had been sold out here in the US for a while. So I was just happy to get a hold of one. I'm excited about it.
Has there ever been a Raspberry Pi launch where they maintain stock?
Yeah. I don't think so. They always need a lot more than they think.
Because
or they can produce in time.
Right. I mean, it's kind of what I'm thinking about, because I'm thinking even back from the first one, Pi 2, Pi 3, definitely the Pi 0.
Yeah.
Pi 0W. They're just gone. Like oh, there's a new announcement. Oh, they're available for sale. Well, I guess I'll try to buy one in a few months is always my first thought. Like even with that keyboard, I'm glad you were able to find one. I wouldn't even thought about trying to get one. Like,
yeah.
Maybe after like January or something like that. But hey, I got a couple of things over here playing around with. I did finish a new interfacing Linux that is, well, the video portion, 90% of the video, there's a teardown in the final version of a really one of the cheapest interfaces I could find. And it's a new unbox from like 2006. So that's up for patrons if you want to go dig around and find that. But I got this. Yes, I got a me. You hit the wrong button, old man. This. I finally found one of these at a reasonable price. This is a Golden Age project, pre-73. It's a hipster microphone. Nice. It's transformer based, man. It's like a Neve 1073 clone. Opened it up, looked at the circuits, input and output, and I'm like, let's say it's 1073 inspired. But I can finally, Jill, I can have a warm, rich, bassy voice.
Oh, yes. Well, your voice doesn't need any more bass on it.
That's the joke.
Yes.
But yeah, they're pretty decent. The junior version is just a stripped down. You have two knobs to deal with, which is great. And yeah, I'm glad that showed up. I got it for a really good price used from Guitar Center, which apparently is thinking about not being around. But
yeah, oh,
I want to give a company this is not a plug. This is not at all. Here's a free plug. Oh, we ordered just a flat Ethernoodle. I needed it for an access point. I got to run it up a wall, and just standard cheap. I was like, Cat 6, cheap, like 3 meters, it was like $9. I'm like, okay, this is what I expected, right? Normally you order from Amazon. I didn't pay attention to the vendor because it's just for an access point. I'm like, as long as it works, we're good.
Nice.
I expected this to come in a bag. I'm like, there it is, done. It's a big box. I got a big box, Jill.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, mine came in a box too, and with all the little
Big chunky
ties
box
and everything
from Cable Geeker, because apparently this is the one I just ordered, the first one that showed up, and it was like $9, and it came with like ties and
Yep.
zip ties, a bunch of stuff I'll never use, but I thought that was an undecided bonus. It kind of surprised me.
Ah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
well,
that's great. I'll never use that.
well, they know if you're buying a flat one, you might want to put it up a wall or under a carpet. So it comes with fasteners.
I don't know. Maybe I ordered it because I'm scared of round cables. That could have been a thing. But hey, we got good news, everyone. Our long national nightmare is over. YouTube DL is back. The RIAA Streisand effect.
Yay.
So all they've accomplished was making sure a lot of people now know about YouTube DL. That's pretty much
Yes.
what they accomplished in the end. I was reading through this. Why did they take it down in the first place? Well, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And here's really like the best I could find. Like looking through the request, it looks like they were saying like the rolling cipher mechanism that is used with YouTube DL was like, hey, that's illegal. And no, the EFF stepped in, Jill, like, no, it's not. Get out of here. Go away.
Yeah. Well, this was just such wonderful news, and way to go to EFF. I actually donated recently because of the YouTube DL fiasco, and hoping that they would help us, and I knew they would. And so in the EFF's rebuttal letter that Ven just showed on letter to the GitHub YouTube DL takedown, they state the legitimate reasons of fair use, which we've been talking about here on LWW, and we did back in October when this all took place. And their EFF stated using it to back up videos on your own YouTube channel is legitimate. It's great for downloading tutorials for instruction and for use for online content for creators, and for people who need to watch videos on computers that can't run or don't have access to a web browser and the internet. And those are exactly, the reasons that we stated why this is an important piece of software. And there's legitimate reasons for using YouTube DL.
Well, I'm sorry, I was downloading some movies off YouTube. What'd you say? No.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we all expected. It's all for naught. I guess the conspiratorial part of my brain is like, what's a real game here? Because they had to know this wasn't something that they could have succeeded with outside of just a temporary inconvenience. I'm just going to say good on EFF. Bothers me because it's so unnecessary to go through this, and it wasn't a proper use of the DMCA. It bothers me too. But
definitely.
Hey, I'm glad it's back. I don't think it was ever removed from any distributions repository. I know it was recently updated on Debian when it was down on GitHub. Like, oh, okay. Hey, we're glad that worked out for the best. A little bit of news. Real quick, new Nvidia drivers.
Yay.
Right? This is 455-4501. These came out last night. And, aside from, they fixed 2 games, did some updates for Life is Strange 2 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Apparently there were some Vulkan issues, and there were some swap chain issues with G-Sync. But what I wanted to know was, can I finally use CUDA with the recent 5.9 kernel? You can.
Yay.
I just installed these. I've been holding off moving this box to 5.9 because of that. It finally worked, so I can use DaVinci and all that fun stuff. But another quick mention is there was an update last Friday. If you have any Blackmagic hardware, capture cards, and systems like that, they've also been updated to work with kernel 5.9. Good on them. I'm very happy about that. And it'd be nice if everyone would just open source everything, wouldn't it? So we didn't have to wait on companies to build their horrible, nasty, big, icky proprietary drivers and their modules, but hey, whatever. It works. I'm happy with it.
Awesome.
What about you, Jill? Are you running? What kernel are you running?
I've got 5.7, so
I was running 5.7. I was running 5.7 because everything compiled under it and it didn't throw.
Yeah, it's stable.
But I like to cover some audio stuff every now and then because, you know, back here, there's like a stack of stuff I've got off eBay because I was curious. Like, hey, does it work? Can we make use of it on Linux? Can musicians kind of get into some of the stuff for the cheap? So I got to it with interfacing links, and every now and then I run across something that just kind of blows me away, man. It's actually a reasonably new USB multi-channel interface to the Tascam 1608. But on top of that, it's got like an internal mixer, so you can do EQ, compression, and all that. Well, this dude got one. It's like, nothing works. I don't like this. And he does what Linux people do. He reverse engineered it. So
awesome.
You have access to your compression, EQ, mutes, your solos, all of the DSP internal mixing. And no, this isn't one of those hipster FireWire devices I love so much. This is regular USB, so you can just plug it in. But you will need the custom kernel driver for it. And if you don't want to go through this system, there's also a LV2 plugin that you can throw into your DAW to get a hold of everything. And I like seeing stuff like this because this gives you, like, let's say you don't want to set up like a door and all this fancy stuff, but you still want to do compression, EQ, and set up mix minus and stuff like that. You can do all of that on the interface by itself. Like, say we were doing podcasts like this, it'd be feasible to set that up. So I wanted to give that a mention for anyone out there shopping for things. But it's not as beautiful.
Yes, as
this, right?
Yes. So there is a beautiful new theme for Debian called Homeworld, which is inspired by the wonderful German Bauhaus movement from the 19th century. And the for those of you that don't know, the Bauhaus School of Art combined the aesthetics of modern art, design, and architecture with artists like Wassily Kandinsky and Paul Klee, who are two of my favorites and are ones that I make sure my art students and animation students know about. Definitely. So this modern yet classic art form is really, it's a fitting tribute to the grand old Linux distro, Debian. So I think it was just they're very beautiful job, and they look really nice, and I will use them on all my Debian systems now.
It's aqua.
Yeah, it is kind of.
I don't know. I try to get in the ballpark with colors and like, yeah, it's dark, I guess. It needs more purple.
Ah, okay.
It needs purple and like brown. Purple and brown.
Well,
we'll call it Ubuntu.
Okay. It is nice having a dark theme for Debian, definitely. And yeah, so if you look at this art, actually the artwork that Juliet Taka did in this theme, it's very, very much Kandinsky, one of my favorite artists. So that I just talked about, because it has the look of architecture flattened in 2 dimensions. And, you know, that's one of the hallmarks of the Bauhaus Bauhaus School of Art. So it's really just, I was really impressed with this theme.
I'm looking at that. It looks like somebody stabbed a fez with a olive on a cocktail stick. But hey,
yeah,
it's the thing. Kind of like I said in the pre-show, I know some people really dig themes, and that's like a big thing of like, I like the overall theme, built-in theme from District. For me, it's great. I run Debian, and as long as I can change the wallpaper to just like blank, I'm good.
Yeah. So, yes, you like the blacks.
It's just, I don't like flashy, whooshy stuff, and like, yeah.
Ven likes the absence of color, of which black is.
It's efficiency. Okay. Retro freedom, man. It's like a laptop for hipsters. I'm just kind of kidding, but they're back. You might have heard of them before. They were down for like 6 months. But if you are maybe just a little bit worried about, you know, proprietary BIOS and stuff like that, This could be something to look into, man, because these are older laptops. They're not brand new, they're not state of the art. They're being repurposed. I'm a huge fan of that, but they're all running LibreBoot for the BIOS replacement, and Triskel's the Linux distro that's being shipped one. You get them worldwide. They're all out of the UK. They accept Bitcoin, and they come with a 2-year warranty. But what are we looking at, man? They have a T400, the X200.
T400.
Yeah. They got that one with that screen that always terrified me. I'm like, I'd break that, the X200.
I actually do have that laptop.
But they're reasonably, they're older laptops, but they're not crazy priced, like 300 pounds, 200 pounds, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, and they're powerful enough to run any modern day Linux OS. That's why so many of us Linux users love the ThinkPads for that reason. And they're one of Stallman's favorite as well. So that makes sense that Triskel is on these laptops.
Have you ever
Richard Stallman approved?
With the replace the BIOS or on a system with the open firmware type stuff? I've thought about it.
Have.
I've always run into the I've also thought better of it. I'm like,
I have, but not on my ThinkPads.
On your ThinkPads?
Yeah.
Mm.
Trying to think. It was it was a Asus Republic of Gamers, I believe. Yes.
Right.
And it's still on there.
Now that's pretty neat, man. Yeah, $100 from Core Boot. What else? I'm reading off your notes, Pedro. I'm stealing from you. I'm doing what you do. Friendly. Oh, you get a LibreSoft friendly Wi-Fi card. Okay, so they're going to be throwing that in there. Yeah, Core Boot. I guess this would be an alternative if you didn't want to spend the cash on like a new System 76 box, right?
Yeah. No, it's perfect. And you can even get one with the dock, which comes with extra USB ports and a CD, DVD, and all the classic connections you need. Because a lot of us Linux users still use the older, connections because we need them. So we're developing and running software on, systems that need access to the older ports as well as the newer.
And you can live that old life that I used to live. They're saying they come with like 2 batteries because I used to have a bag of batteries. I used to fly constantly. And that's one thing I would miss, like if I bought a modern laptop, because I like being able to swap out batteries.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And actually, the ThinkPads have really good battery life.
Yeah?
So yeah, for even how old they are, my old ThinkPads still hold up. I'm still getting around 6 hours on most of them, and they're old machines.
If you need something, for your basic computing and stuff like it, and you don't have to rip it apart and get the heat gun out to pry the battery out. You click, slam another one in, and you're done.
And that's the beauty of the ThinkPads. Everything is accessible, almost everything. Even if you need to replace the BIOS on a lot of the models, it's easy to get to.
Yeah.
So it's easy to replace, hard drives. You can convert them to SSDs easily, add more RAM, change out the batteries easy. And that's the beauty. That's why it's in the arsenal of the Linux user, the ThinkPads. They're great.
So what's Gping?
Yeah, so this is really cool. This is ping, but graphically in the CLI, in the terminal. So so it's ping in graph form instead of text output that actually moves quickly in the terminal when you normally use ping and the website, say google.com. What's nice about this is that you can compare several websites at once. So I Gpinged linuxgamecast.com, google.com, and our linuxchicksla.org site and compared them. And it was nice to see that our LGC ping was pretty much equal to google.com for me, with an average of 3.13 milliseconds, while the Linux Chicks LA ping was 14.902 average, which makes sense because it's not on as nice a server.
Where do you host that in, like Mordor?
Yeah, it's hosted on a droplet, so
Yeah, Linux Gamecast is like edge cache throughout Cloudflare too. So that's,
yeah. So that's the thing. But I was really impressed by this because, I use ping all the time and to check, internet speeds and our milliseconds with the outside world. And it's just nice to have it graphically inside of the command line in CLI.
I think that's really pretty nice. Neat. I gotta say, a lot of times with like the terminal GUI stuff, 100%. Like even this, I played with it. I looked at it, and like that's neat, but that's as far as I ever end up going with it because at the end of the day, I just need those number digits. Like, what's that ping? And what do I normally use ping for? That's something that I was thinking to myself, and that's like ping is my go-to way of like, is this thing connected to the internet?
Yes, exactly. That's why I started using it years ago. Even in the Unix days. So that was the way you knew you were connecting with the outside world.
That's it. Is there hope? Can I get to something? Can I ping something? Okay, there's a chance. Then maybe I've just clearly messed up other things because it can see the outside world. Yeah, go check that out. All that'll be in our show notes after the fact. I saw a couple of people in our community in Discord have Pine phones.
Yeah, so this is really awesome. Pine 64 collaborated with KDE and has released a new Pine phone, the KDE Community Edition. Yay! This is really cool. And like previous community editions, it has most of the features that you would expect from a smartphone. And of course, you can follow the progress of its development and features in the Plasma mobile blog. And I was really excited about this because I had actually tested an early version of Plasma Mobile on my Nexus 5 back in 2016. And I was really impressed with how smooth and stable it was even then. None of the functions worked, like the phone calling and text and all that, but it ran nice and stable, and I used it as a Wi-Fi device. So there's so much great potential here. And now that it has been released on the Pine phone, it's maturing into the phone OS I was hoping it would be. So this is really beautiful. Actually, this is the Pine phone I am thinking of getting. I have UP ports already on my OnePlus, so I would like to get I think the Plasma version of the Community Edition. Or the Manjaro.
I love this podcast thing. That is the most heinous collaboration of colors I've seen in quite some time.
Lots of white.
Well, I like this poo brown mixed with orange.
Oh,
accented
okay.
with just random white and blue. I like that. I'm down with that. That's brave. That's a brave color scheme.
But yeah, it works with KDE Connect and has that synergy. And it has the cutoff switch for the sound and the camera. And so it's a secure phone, which is really nice, just like the previous versions.
I see a bunch of stuff on the KDE page with the announcements. I'm just not seeing any link. Where can I go buy one? You might want to throw that in there, KDE. I'm just saying on the page.
Yeah, I went to the Pine phone site. So
Buying 64. What are these? Like $100, $120, or?
Yeah, correct. And 120 with the, I believe 120 with the dock.
Okay. Well, I want that tablet. I really want that tablet.
Pine tab.
I want a Pine tab with a 1080p screen, and I'll give you $250, $300 for it. Because I am so in the market for a new tablet right now. And like, I'm very quickly approaching I have legitimate reasons for a new one outside of like, I just want a new one. So,
yeah.
But seeing the progress on the Pine phone, no, I've had a lot of people come back and say pretty much the same thing universally. Like, that's what I assumed. I don't personally own one, so it's hard for me to comment on it directly, but they're like, these are still very much development devices. These, you don't pick one up and expect full functionality. Things are still getting worked out, and they're still being improved upon. So do keep that in mind when you order one. I think that's definitely fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
great phones.
We were
great
having
development.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch them go from, well, legitimately when they were first announced, I'm like, this is a tinker toy. Now,
Yeah. Now it's become a serious development platform. Yes.
now it's a tinker toy with an ecosystem, which is better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes me very glad to see stuff like that, and especially when it matures and I start thinking like, what are they going to be able to push out 5 years from now? And that's when it's going to get real interesting. And to have like a legitimate, like maybe even possibly mass marketable Linux based mobile device, as opposed to, oh, you got Android
Exactly.
and you have iOS. Player 3 needs to enter the field.
We need to, and Pine has positioned themselves as the company that can do it. Definitely.
They can. Do you think we could run Slackware on it though?
Yeah, I think that will be a thing. Especially this distro called Slackx. Maybe we'll see a Slackx port on the Pine phone. So this is actually one of my favorite distros. It's the Slackware Linux-based Slackx, and it has
You're trying to talk me into installing it.
Yes, it has been released with the latest Enlightenment desktop in Linux kernel 5.9. Awesome. And it's the only live distro to use the latest Enlightenment, version 0.24.2. So, and it's the only Slackware-based live distro right now that uses Linux kernel 5.9. And
Who uses Linux 5.9?
Well, now that we have CUDA drivers, that'll run nice on 5.9. I think a lot of us will.
Who uses Nvidia, Joe?
Yeah. So with the key takeaway from Slackx, one of the big deals of it actually is that it comes with the Refracta snapshot installer, so you can build your own Slackware-based distro with the new version of Enlightenment. And I was really impressed because right out of the box with the live USB, Enlightenment magically auto-detected my 3-monitor setup. That is a first for a live distro with Enlightenment. So this new version of Enlightenment, they improved that a lot. Although, Enlightenment for years is very good about setting up multi-monitor, and in fact, it was one of the first window managers that allowed you to set up multi-monitors under Linux. So this is, I was really excited about it. That means I can game on 3 monitors right out of the box. And the other cool thing is it's Slackware. So Slackware usually comes pre-installed with lots of classic apps like XMMS, Cine, and MPlayer. And Slackx is no exception. So thank you to the developers of Slackx. I've been really enjoying the distro.
It's kind of interesting. They got like all the sharp dangerous bits filed off of Slackware. So you could be like Manjaro users that are like, hey, I run Arch. I'm like, yeah, technically. So you could be like, hey, I run Slack. Well, all right. Hey.
Yeah. Well, Slackware now is so much easier to use because we have Gslapt, which is like the Synaptic package installer. So it's very easy to use. You don't have to use the terminal anymore with Slackware unless you want to. But I like slapget, so I'm still using slapget.
We were talking in the pre-show for we went live. I was trying to think of the last time I legitimately had a Slackware desktop set up, and I think it was like 2003. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had Slackx running on one of my systems for a while, but I still have my original install of Slackware on my 486.
So. I mean, Slackware was one of the things I started. I distinctly remember installing pre 1.0 Slackware and like, all right, I'm getting that. And,
depackage and InsaMod, all the things. You had the InsaMod to get your sound card to work. That was the thing.
That was absolutely 100% the thing. If you built it as a module and you weren't dumb and just built it directly into it. So like, oh, I messed that up. Let's recompile the kernel. That took a while. Back in the day.
Oh, yes. Sometimes it was a 24-hour process. Sometimes more.
So Beautiful people. We are going to cut into a slice of pie, but before that, if you like what we do, we are completely community funded. So shameless self-promotions. There it is. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. If you like the cut of our jib, we got an extra hour of show for people who help us out each and every week. Access to our Discord. There's like 6 levels of nightmares and mayhem that you can get into, but we just want to thank you and stick around for your names in the credit. Also, we have t-shirts.
Yes, you can buy LWW merch.
Right.
Yay!
That's the thing. We have stickers. We have slightly less naughty words that cover up worse ones. That's a kind of
yes.
That's my way around censorship. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's brilliant. Thank you, all of you. You let us do this. So, and we're not like, this was brought to you by. I still refuse to do mattress ads, but Microsoft offer still stands.
Yeah.
let me do an ad for the Surface RT.
Yeah. Oh, and Steve Husband says in chat, Patreon goal is a funeral for Pedro. That would be great.
Are you familiar? I feel like being like Donnie from we'll get into it. Check it out. We got to get into this before we run out of time. Do you believe in a slice of pie?
Slice of pie, the bloody version, but with white instead.
Over pie. Dude, this is from Hackaday, Adventures in Overclocking, which this is just silly. I love the idea of overclocking Raspberry Pis. I know it's been a thing, but this is this. I fell in love with it when I was like, okay, what can I do? We're just looking at, because he wants to hot rod the Pi 400. I'm like, okay, there's different ways to go about doing that, overvolting, and made a good point. Cheap heat sinks, you know, those little 10 little bits that come with the little kits. Yeah, don't bother with it. Don't bother with it. You got to bring out the aluminium, man. You do.
Yes.
You got to use science zip ties to put them on. I'm like, okay, this is just getting fun. And that's really all this is, man. How fast was he able to get it? 2.5? 2.15?
Yeah, 2.5. It's pretty impressive.
Staying a hair below 70C. And this was the Pi 400. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to you might not be able to get the case back on without hanging off the side of it. But come on, why not? And so apparently the best place to use, you take some notes, Jill, the best place to use your new Pi 400 is going to be outside on damp ground with a leaf on top of it.
With leaves on top of it.
That's how you achieve maximum efficiency.
Well, if it's cooler outside, it would help. You're overclocking. You can get it up a little higher.
Being able to keep it, I'd be curious, because the SoC in the Pi 400 is a stepped revision. I mean, it is better than what you would get in the Pi 4.
It's the C revision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to playing with my Pi, and I'm for sure going to overclock it as well. Because why not?
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing. The only thing, I think there's probably a large segment of me, we saw the Pi 400, we're like, oh, that's going to be fantastic. I'm going to wait for the 8 gig. Because, I mean, that an 8 gig unit, a little portable one like that, man, I just keep one of those like next to the tire iron in my car. It's like my just in case box if I need to plug it into something. That could be a thing.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Pi 400 to put out the 8 gig version. So I know they probably will put out an 8 gig version instead of the 4 gig. But yeah, so
I can't wait to get mine so I can go outside and roll around in the leaves with it.
Yeah.
It'll be brilliant.
And, I had overclocked my Raspberry Pi 3 Model B back in the day from 1.2 gigahertz to 1.5 gigahertz, and it's still running fine. That's what I used for all our install fests for the Linux Chicks of Los Angeles, and it's still ticking along. So
I think I played around with my Pi 3 for a minute because there was some OC scripted, and then again, I didn't really care about melting it either, so there was no heat sinks or anything on it. I'm like, hey, look, get the thing. All right. Okay.
Yeah. They're inexpensive enough.
Like, if you're wondering about like all that Pi camera kit, I'm like, here, you have it. So check this out. This is Pi related. So
yes.
Have you ever wanted to stalk someone on the cheap? Didn't want to buy one of those fancy, maybe you just like legitimately needed to track a package, or maybe you shipped someone in a package and you're trying to track them. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Regardless, This is how you can build a Raspberry Pi GPS tracker for effectively nothing, man. What this does is it's just using SMS, so it doesn't need internet connectivity. Like every 5 minutes, it pings, it sends a location, and you can just like drop this in to about anything because it's super small. Because this is using a Pi Zero 16 gig SD card, just a prepaid SIM, the Wave Share,
Yeah.
little Bluetooth out, and a little power bank. Look at it, so cute, it's so tracky.
Aw, yeah.
I like the idea of this just because if the best use case I've seen for this is people who are having problems shipping, people who do a lot of shipping.
Yeah.
And they're
That'll
like,
be a
packages
big
are getting
use.
lost, they're disappearing. We're going to drop a couple of these in there and find out where they really end up. So I like this. Plus, it's just neat. It's just neat. You get to play with things like that. I don't know. Can you think of like any non-illicit uses for it, Jill, other than packages?
Well, to maybe track someone you don't like. I don't know.
No, non-illicit.
No.
That would not fall under the category of legal.
No, yeah.
Why would you track somebody that you just to make sure they're far enough away from you? Like,
Yes. Well, remember back in the day, Android had the functionality with the Google phones to be able to track them and easily from another phone, and they removed that feature for security reasons.
Did they ever take that? I remember there was the
Yeah,
Android
I had tested
equivalent
it.
to like find my Android device. And,
Yeah.
but
yeah, you could track other people too. So, but that was, they took that out.
probably for the best. But this is something that you could make, and
Exactly.
but
Easy and quick.
This isn't like something you want to be sneaky with. Don't do that. Plus, it looks sketchy. So,
well, I like it that it uses SMS too, which is
yeah.
nice to ping you and let you know what you're tracking, where it is.
Like long as it can get cellular communications, like you really got to be somewhere, and we're not to pick up anything like that. And plus, you can do it prepaid, so you're not getting any like crazy bills. But my main use case is like if I was shipping something expensive, yes, I'd pack something like that in it, just for my own peace of mind. Especially when the person on the other end's like, "I never got it." Like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I mean, look at how cheap you can get the Pi. $5. Well, $5 for the non-Wi-Fi, so a little bit more for the Wi-Fi version. But that's like,
right.
That's for your for your being. I couldn't come up with the word for it, but for your safety of the package that you're delivering, it's worth the under $10.
Right.
So
also, we don't need to point this out, but just in case, don't take this through the airport. This is a 0 TSA acceptance package. You will be disappeared. Do not put it in your luggage.
For your peace of mind. That's what I was looking for. Yes, there we go.
Maybe you want to tell us about your peace of mind. You'd like to share that information. If you want to do that, head over to linuxgamecast.com. We have a contact button. Smash that button, fam. And let us know. Just make sure you pick the right show, because that's how we keep trying. Pick LWDW for this one. Give us a name, an email, a subject, maybe a message if you're feeling saucy.
Yes.
Jill, what do we got this week?
Yeah, so this week, this one actually comes from and I'll say it, this is my cousin Lisa, and who listens every week, and I love her dearly. And she says, "Hey Pedro, Halloween is over. Time to change Nicholas out of his Terror of Trilogy voodoo doll look." Because, he has the Nicolas Cage on next to him on the podcast with the teeth, with that, I think Nori put on it. And I just saw Ven's corner with the skeleton dressed up. LOL. P.S. I seen it change. It has changed in the next vid. Have a blessed day.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So Frank, he was in Halloween form. Actually, he still is.
Frank's in Christmas. I'm sorry. Do you not see the vampire Christmas llama?
I can see the now. I see that it's been on there for a little bit, but he's still holding the trick or treat pumpkin.
That's Halloween doesn't stop for Frank. Every day's Halloween.
Yeah, very true. And thank you again, Cousin Lisa, for watching every week and paying attention to all the things and pointing it out when it needs to be pointed out. Way to go.
All I'm hearing is somebody's got an issue with pumpkins.
Yeah. Oh, you do notice that this time, Ven is not wearing his skeleton Halloween shirt. He's got he's rocking his black right now.
This is why I don't wear anything but like black shirts, man. As soon as I wear something, people pick on me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful people, we got to bounce out of here. But thanks for showing up, and we're gonna roll some credits. But we'll see you next week if I can get the right song queued up. Maybe I even got the credits done correctly.
Yeah! Yay! And yes, this is a Linux Gamecast original series hosted by Ben Stone and me and 99.9% of the time Pedro, but he's not on this week. So thank you to our advisor, Vigilant Viking, and our beautiful executive producers, and our Chicago kicks you know what, and our sea monsters, and our death notes. Oh, Ven, I just realized it needs to say Jill and Steve, because Steve needs to be represented in those death notes since you updated it. So,
it says what it says on your Patreon.
No, you put Jill and Steve. Originally, you put Jill and Steve.
I did that before I changed the system where it pulls it automatically. So
it was just automatic now. Okay, no problem. We gotta fix that.
Jill, you know, if you double down on something with me, it'll never happen. So keep going.
No, I kept meaning to tell you, Vin, that Steve needs to be on there. So, who's Steve? Yeah, but actually, on our Patreon, it's Jill Bryant and Steve Reinecker. So it does say Jill and Steve.
I just pulled it from the CVS data. So
yeah, no, I know you did that. Yeah.
And Steve can just be grateful I let him in the Discord.
Yes. Oh, poor Steve.
How about that?
Well, there are lots of other Steves on our Patreon credits, so I guess we can include Steve as one of those. My husband, Steve. Tough burn. I said it live, poor Ben. It just came out.
What did?
I didn't mean to correct you in the live show, Ben.
You didn't correct me.
Well, yeah, I was having fun.
I'm still wondering what you're on about.
I was just remembering because I saw, Death Notes Jill. Of course, I've been a Patreon since you started Patreon. So. But it was saying Jill and Steve.
Now it's forever going to say Jill, though. I'm sorry, Steve.
That's okay. I will add the Steve from now on. Yay! We did it, Ben.
Kick this over to after show.
Did it in good time too.
There was a Jill and another that had Jill and Steve. Probably, I don't know.
Thank you, Pedro.
That just means Jill missed the one that said Jill and Steve.
Yeah, but it wasn't in Death Notes, and that's our level, is Death Notes. Unless you put it in another area. I'll have to check. You might have, and I missed it. Not good vision is one of my issues.
Oh, man. Grape nuts. It's good cereal. Go for it.
Yeah, Steve loves his grape nuts. I actually do like grape nuts a lot, and I think you said you do too, Ven.
Well,
but
I only
I
eat
can't.
cereal's dry, so that's like one I can tolerate.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good one, dry. But I can't because of having mouth surgery and missing a lot of teeth and part of my jaw, so the thing.
Yeah, I've never really understood. I mean, I don't drink milk, so it's probably got a lot to do with me not eating cereal, but it just seems like, hey, here's like 19 different types of like sugar boxes. Like, not a fan of sugar.
Yeah, kashi is good, Vin. Just without milk or something liquid on it. That's another good cereal that's just easy to eat.
I didn't say I didn't use liquid gel.
What do you usually do? You use silk or something like that? The no dairy, the non-dairy.
I always eat it dry.
Oh, okay.
I guess you could technically say I have tea or coffee with it. Whiskey, adult milk.
Ugh.
I don't know. I mean, I've definitely like used silk, which is like the soy milk, and I've tried like the almond milk and stuff. I've sampled it, and it's nothing I've ever went out to buy because I'm not looking to replace something. You know, I'm like, oh no, I need a milk substitute. I'm like, that's just not part of my life. But not really my thing. Tap water. Yeah.
Yeah, I've used water before.
A quart.
Not my favorite thing to use of cereal, but it does work.
Yeah, you know, Frosted Flakes with a nice warm glass of water. Mmm.
It did work. So sugar water, right?
A whole bottle of milk. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I bet Pedro. I love milk too, so I have it just about every morning. Mm-hmm.
That's not what I look for in food, but yeah, all right. Cheap and plenty of calories. I mean, oatmeal. I've made oatmeal, but that's how you make oatmeal. You put it in water.
Same here, Matthew. No, I use milk and water. I use water to cook it, and then I put milk on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, milk is actually considered to be food by my doctor. So I know when I had to fast and whatnot, they would have me drink some milk.
I like that milk has a acceptable measurement of pus that it can have in it and still be in the bottle.
Yeah, that's true. Yum.
Cal squeeze. Pizza's a vegetable. I don't know. I thought ketchup was a vegetable. Didn't they rule that pizza really wasn't? It was some school system. And I'm like, no, pizza's a vegetable.
Yes, Arthur. Pizza pie.
Let's see. What was the
Mm-hmm. Well, if you put enough vegetables on it, it's a vegetable delivery system. And sometimes me and Steve we like vegan pizzas as well. And Mediterranean pizzas, which sometimes are just veggies.
That was 2011. They tried. Congress was like, yeah, sure.
Oh.
Schools should not be allowed to credit a volume of fruits or vegetables as more than the actual. Yeah. I don't think it flew, though.
Yeah. And it's not the quite the right kind of tomato sauce. But that's a fruit anyways.
I think 2020 was rough, man. 2011. Ketchup's nasty. That's my entire comment on ketchup. Ketchup is sugar with some red food coloring put in it.
I like it a little bit, but I don't like it a lot of it. I prefer tomatoes and tomato sauce.
Now, to be fair, I couldn't find confirmation on whether or not ketchup expires.
It does. I've seen it happen. We've had it happen here at this house. You can smell. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah. It sometimes comes out lumpy or runny, depending on which where you've stored it. It you know what? It decongeals. It does that where it comes out mostly water. By the time you're at the bottom of the bottle, sometimes it's just water. Just water, ketchup water. So true. Pedro, so true. Yeah, that's why I try and eat a lot of tomatoes.
I have a giant weekly thing of hot sauce and mustard. Those are my condiments.
Yep. That's true, Arthur. Yes. It's a little cool today, but it's still beautiful out.
That's the spirit, Katana. Yeah, shake it up a little bit. There you go.
Yeah. But I've had it sometimes where there's nothing to shake it with, where it's just all the liquids left. Yuck. But usually, yeah, especially with the Heinz bottles, you just have to shake them.
So that's kind of like the depending on the amount of vinegar.
Yeah.
The shelf life of ketchup is. I think the ultimate thing is it won't hurt you if you eat it.
Correct. Yeah, that is true. Just like milk won't when it goes sour, but it's disgusting when it goes sour. But it won't hurt you. It's cheese.
Is there articles on how you keep it in the fridge, right?
Yeah, some people refrigerate it and some people keep it room temperature. I've always refrigerated it. Or no. Well, my family had always refrigerated it. When I moved in with Steve's husband, his family had always kept it warm. So it works both ways.
Is that an issue, Steve? You're like, man, I want some ketchup. Yeah, let me get it out of the fridge and get it to room temp. You got to microwave it for a minute.
Yeah. Bye, Ducresne. Yep, I like Arthur, and I cheese is just a loaf of milk. Yeah, I've seen that meme.
Oh, Steve, you won the battle.
Yes, he did. Yeah. And Katana, if I think I know what you're getting at, it's true, because here in SoCal, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit throughout most of the year, so we can keep our ketchup out, and it won't get frozen, and it won't overheat.
I should tell everyone there is a good Humble bundle going on right now.
Oh yeah, and you can use our affiliate link to buy it. It's the farm bundle. The farm. I still need to take a look at it.
I know it took me forever to remember my Humble login because I didn't want to use our affiliate link when I bought it. But so I cleared all the cookies from Humble, and I was like, oh man, I had to send myself the password.
Aw, bye, Steve husband. Thank you for joining us as always. And I'll see you later.
Where is it at? Humble? Is it the full? No, there it is.
Oh, okay. This is one I hadn't seen. I had just bought. There's a cool bundle at Fanatical as well, where you can build. It has lots of games you can choose from and kind of build your own bundle. So I did that one recently.
Yeah, Swimsy had a couple in it. It's got Toe Jam and Earl. I've been meaning to check that out. Out there, I'm unfamiliar with, but what I got it for was Super Hot because I wanted to play Super Hot, but I've never wanted to play Super Hot for $20.
Yeah. I had gotten that one on a bundle a while back. That one is good though. You'll like it, Ben. It's fun. Apparently, it works very well in VR. People have used it.
I don't have a
Linux.
toaster, Jill. Can I use my quesadilla maker?
Yes, you can.
Password and the auth. Yeah, I did have the authenticator set up too. I saw that like one of my old passwords, Google will be like, oh no, your password was included in a data breach. It was some old password. So I went and looked. I'm like, I don't care about any of those accounts. So have fun with that. Whoever runs across whatever email login combo that password was typed in. I didn't see anything I cared about. I don't know. What's Sigma Theory about?
Yeah, I don't know that game.
I could use it as a musical instrument.
Oh, there you go.
What are these?
What is that, Ben?
Oh, I take that back. These aren't zip ties.
Oh, are those the little? See, are those the little clamps that you can? Yeah. See, mine came with those too. So, and I used some of them actually.
I got like a stack of like good ones. These were the things Strider was going to put. Thank you, Arthurian.
Yeah, thank you, Arthurian.
Strider was going to go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if that brand that you got was unique to that brand, or if it's just it's probably a generic manufacturer and other brands sell it, so they all come in the same packaging. I don't know, but every flat cable I've had from purchasing at different times on Amazon and eBay have always come with those.
Yeah, normally when I order flat cable, normally when I order any type of cable, I get the cable.
Just the cable.
Cable. I get the traditional Amazon basics. Here's your bag. Open it up.
Yeah.
There's your cable. Cool.
Yeah, so I use the round ones for all my, main rigs, and I use the flat ones for all the vintage computers, the older computers, and the computer out in the hallway. So I put it under the rug, and it works out really nice. Then I didn't have to go under the house. Because I already have, from my router here, I already have a 50-foot cable going to the living room under the house.
See, one thing I did in here is every room has a Cat 6 connection, wall outlet.
Yeah.
So, but I don't use any of that. I use Wi-Fi.
You want Wi-Fi now? But yeah, so that's initially I didn't think about it when I had my brother did it for us, and I didn't think about it because he did 2 drops in the living room, and but my workbench and one of my other main systems is actually in the hallway, and you don't think about putting a drop in the hallway. So that was why I needed to put it under the carpet. But it's right next to this room, right out that door. We have a wide hallway.
You don't have a basement, do you?
No.
So you have to do everything from the ceiling and drop it
crawl.
Down. Yep.
Actually, we have a crawl space. The older homes, which they're better for earthquakes, to have a crawl space. Older homes have crawl space. There was a trend in the 60s and 70s to put houses on a slab, but that wasn't as safe for earthquakes, so they don't do it quite as much anymore. Only when they have to. But no, we have a crawl space that's just big enough for a human to crawl around in barely. But it's nice. Yeah, then so that's why we have crawl spaces here, because for earthquakes we have the houses on piers on the dirt, and because of earthquakes we have per foot you're supposed to have every 5 to 10 foot a pier in the ground, and that's in the ground, dug in the ground deep with cement. My dad used to build these foundations, and then you have your house locked to each of the piers. And the reason this is better for earthquakes is it's more flexible. So if one pier on one corner of the house slides off in an earthquake, the others, will usually be okay. And we've had that happen, in our homes here with earthquakes. But if you have a slab house, sometimes they slide off the foundation. So that's why most houses here have crawl spaces and no basements. You'll sometimes find like 1920s houses with basements because that was before the rules, went into effect. Or if it's a house on a hill, it'll have maybe, a small part basement, which you're allowed to have, but you can't have a whole house basement. Mere PPC, I do know code, and I know code here in the South Bay because my dad worked here for 50 years. And yes, I do know the code. That is the code here in the South Bay. Yeah, I concrete slabs, and it's not as good as crawl spaces. Concrete slabs are not as good as crawl spaces for earthquakes, although they've improved that process quite a bit. Yeah, well, yeah. A lot of the suburbs were, because your house is probably late 50s, 60s, and that was very common then. And if you're on a hillside, which you're close to a hillside, sometimes they use slabs. But as a daughter of a contractor who used to work with my father, those are the rules here in the South Bay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can use slabs. It's going to be a certain thickness.
Yeah, they have to be thick. They have a better way of locking the house to the slab now too. And my dad had gone through and replaced a lot of slab houses with crawl spaces for safety reasons.
You got to use a vapor barrier between the ground and the slab. 6
And
mil.
yeah, exactly. But the older homes didn't do that. The ones from the 50s and 60s. So that's been a problem. But there's ways of...
Thank you, Reese. You
locking
finally
down.
put out a notification. Good on you.
Yeah, Amir, I'm sorry. Yeah, you meant the new ones. I know that.
Yeah,
but
Pedro
yeah,
beat
the
you,
old
you
ones.
bot.
The old ones are no good. In fact, during the Northridge quake, my friend of ours lived literally on the epicenter in Northridge, and he lived in old 50s houses with crawl spaces. They all had cracks, but they were fine. But all the houses around them were on the there were old houses on old slabs, and they literally slid off their foundations. So there is proof that that system works. And that was one of the first things I checked when we bought this house. My dad went under there and checked that all the piers were locked down and that there was enough. They made these houses really well, so that wasn't an issue. This house is essentially concrete because it's plaster and chicken wire, and plaster becomes concrete basically after time. No drywall here, except for instead of drywall when we remodeled, we used stone wall. So that was my dad's recommendation, so we'd have a stronger foundation for the house. So enough of that. You got me going, Mir. Do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, very true, Pedro. Yeah, the solid foundations make things shake a lot. Yep. That's a thing because you don't have as much. Now, concrete is flexible. It will shake up to a certain point, but of course you've got to put metal rebarb in it.
You got structural bracing. It also depends on the type of concrete you're using.
Yeah, my dad, he was a mason, did masonry. He built He could build the house from floor to ceiling with all the furnishings, the electrical, everything. Old school contractors all were trained that way. They knew how to build things. And every house that he's ever built has withstood earthquakes and waves going over them, like our house in Mexico. The only one it didn't is when he's built a lot of houses in Malibu, and when they had fires, one of his houses he built burnt down. But that was not under his control. Yeah, bouncy castle, best for earthquakes, yeah. Well, everyone knows, the best shape for an earthquake is actually the geodesic dome. We need more geodesic dome homes. That's why arches are really good for going from one room to the next.
Hippies would love that.
Yeah, in fact, that's why that movement, it was in the 60s and when I was a little kid in the 70s, that was the trend. Everyone was making their doorways with arches. It was a hippie thing to do.
Well, you typically can see that type of building structure. I mean, Spanish.
Yeah.
Construction's real big on that.
Yeah, Adobe. And they often, living in Mexico, I got to see a lot of the the homes that didn't have reinforced rebar, or they were just made out of Adobe.
Those homes were reinforced with anything. Yeah, they were just stuck together. Yeah, they don't last. That's why entire cities used to get leveled.
Yeah, that's why smaller earthquakes like a 6.0 will devastate Mexico, because they don't, aren't.
But I mean, we're still in 2020. They're putting up houses right there, and with wood frames, which boggles me. I'm like, if I ever had to build a house from the get-go, it would be steel framed. Period.
Yeah, but wood is very good for earthquakes. That's why most of the houses here are made out of wood.
Wood's flexible.
Wood
also ruts.
But it does, but you know what? They make wood now that is treated, so that's not as much an issue.
Lumber,
the blue red, blue red. Like all our new wood that we have in this house has been treated.
I'll stick with the brick.
No, you don't want bricks here in Cali.
Oh no, I'm not going to live in a place prone to earthquakes. That's step one.
But anywhere in the U.S., you can have an earthquake anywhere.
Statistically,
they just don't happen more often than others. But the key with brick is you got to reinforce it. You got to reinforce it with rebar. And during the earthquakes here, the old houses that have brick fireplaces that aren't reinforced are the ones that fall down. So those are the only... That's why you don't see brick. Brick is a decorative element here. It is not a building material.
Yeah, I've never been caught in a earthquake of any sorts. Stack pieces of brick.
Yorkshire. Yeah. Yeah, hobbit habitations. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good...
Well, that's the ideal place to build a house. Housing.
Yeah.
Build it completely underground. It's like trying to explain to people how come earthquakes don't affect underground tunnels to the extent that they do as anything on the surface.
Yeah, that's why it's good to build subways underground. But it's also a lot more expensive.
We couldn't call them subways if they were art.
Yeah.
Have to call them train tracks.
Well, trains. Yeah, trains underground. Subways. Unless you live in certain parts of California that have oil from dinosaurs. And then that ground is not safe to build on. Like what happened here in Beverly Hills.
Oh, come on. We need to put a channel right through the La Brea tar pits.
Yeah. See, our house is actually built on the ground. It has sand in it from the ocean. So, and that's another reason why you want wood that's flexible. So the house can bend.
I saw that out there, and yeah, see, 2020 has gotten so bad. People are using the bartering system now to buy food. You can see apparently the current price for coffee, one baby.
Oh my. Oh.
It's pretty cheap, right?
Coffee
Like
prices are out of control. That's funny, Arthur.
All right, beautiful people. It is 4:30. What do you got going on the rest of the day, Jill?
Oh, I'm going to get some exercise, get some lunch, and do some work.
Some lungs.
Lungs. Get some lunch.
Sweet. I'm going to make a podcast, and then I'm going to set up my Gibson. I got to get some sandpaper.
Oh,
out of
yeah.
Sandpaper. So I'm not going to be able to do the acoustic today because I don't feel like driving to pick up a piece of sandpaper. That seems a bit excessive.
Understand that.
Environmentally irresponsible to go drive all the way. It's
Yeah.
like, one piece of sandpaper, please, so I can sand out the bony bits for my acoustic. But with the saddle. But I'm going to set up the Gibson correctly and get the truss rod adjusted and all that fun stuff. Sheep's lungs, man, they're delicious. You should try them. Great in cereal. Probably not, but don't let that stop you. All right, beautiful people, we can get out of here. Everyone, have a fantastic rest of the week, and Jordan will be back tomorrow with something because we're done with Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Wonder what he's going to come up with.
Sea of Thieves. It's probably going to be on the menu.
Oh, okay. I did hear him mention that. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Bye, everyone. Peace out, Pedro. Hope everything's okay.